You would recognize who you saw. I like maybe he doesn't know who you are.
Right. And so it was they should use a lot of the internet. Yeah. So they were very sweet.
I mean, it's not, we've done this before, we'll do it again. We were there last time, right? So it's really that my mother wants to do for 15 minutes because we were
Moshe, how you doing?
But like when it works, it's the most amazing.
You know, I sent you a text if you want to go to Shiva Rock.
Sounds good.
Okay. Hi.
Thanks. Okay, so let's start. Really, there's pages here if you want to go. A whole page. Okay. So what we want to look at today is is obviously the Mishkan, and exactly what it means in building the psyche properly. So each one of the parts of the Mishkan are learnt in a certain way as a lesson for something in the nefesh. So we'll start with the first one, the Aron Kodesh. The whole idea is that originally the way Hashem said it is V'asu li migdash v'shachanti b'tocham, is that they'll build me a migdash and I will dwell inside them. The whole purpose of the Mikdash really is to dwell inside. So after, you can say there's levels of integrating the Mikdash into ourselves, which is something that happens to people a lot in life, is that we go from, instead of going from strength to strength, on the outside, it looks like we're going from weakness to weakness. And what does it feel like on the outside? It feels like every time I encounter the same problems, and they just get worse. So, by the Jewish people, as a people, it was the first time we encountered our problems was with the golden calf. But it seemed like it was very quickly we got back on track. How long did it take? It only took 40 days. Okay. Say maybe 80, but in principle it's 40 days. After 40 days, Hashem had already forgiven us. And then we encountered the same problem again. Again, we didn't believe in Hashem. And this time it was with the sin of the spies, of not wanting to go into the land of Israel. So then it became worse. It was 40 years to get out of that one. And but it looked like everything was back on track again. And then the same thing happens when we're already in the land of Israel. And the first base of Mikdash is destroyed. But after 70 years, it looks like things are back on track again. Like they go back. But each time it gets longer and longer. And then finally, the second base of Mikdash is destroyed. And this time, it's been 2,000 years and we're still, what's going on? But the idea here is that each one of these interims in the middle is a deeper integration of the lesson. And it's on the outside it looks like you're becoming weaker because it looks like you keep going back. It's like a dog returning to his vomit. Like you keep returning to the same thing. But the truth is that inside, if you've never seen this, it's really disgusting, but that's what dogs do. So they go to check it out to see if there's anything worthwhile to whatever. And it looks like that's how we are, but we're not like dogs in that sense. It's true that we repeat the same things again and again, and each time it looks like it takes longer to recover. But the truth is that every time the penetration of the lesson is deeper. Meaning that what you learn from it goes deeper and deeper. Until eventually you become free of it. And usually when you talk, that's how it is in the psyche. In the body it's the other way around. In the body the first time is always the hardest, and then afterwards it gets easier and easier. But the body and the psyche in this sense are completely opposite. It could be illness. For instance, if somebody had chickenpox, okay, and they didn't get vaccinated for I don't know how many years, they can have it again as an adult. It'll be much easier. It's not the same thing at all. But the thing I was thinking more of is like when you're working out or something like that. So the first time it's always the hardest and takes the longest time to recover. And then afterwards it gets easier. It gets easier and easier as you become more and more, call it, I don't know, in shape or whatever. The body learns how to heal itself more quickly.
The psyche gets harder?
The psyche takes longer, but the reason is because the psyche is infinite, the body isn't. So every time you're penetrating even deeper into who you are, the lesson is going deeper and deeper into you. And therefore it takes a longer time. Okay, so that's a general introduction to this whole thing. So even though we lost the original idea, which was v'shachanti betocham, that I'll dwell in them, the truth is that after every major sin that we have, especially after the two destructions of the temple, so the lesson is integrated even more. So that now, like the Torah that we can say now about what the Aron Kodesh, what the kaporet on it, the covering over it, even the word cover, I'm not sure if it's connected, but it sounds the same as kapoet. So maybe there's even some etymological connection. But the covering that was on top and had the two krubim on it, the two angels, or two. We'll get into this in more depth later. The way we understand it today is far deeper than you might say that it was understood 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago. The lesson of what it means to build inside myself our own and to cover it is much deeper today. So that's going to be our topic of what this Aron and the covering is. The first thing to learn from the Aron is its dimensions. So let's read a little bit. And this is something we repeat every year. There's nothing new about it. Maybe you've heard this. So, sorry it's so small. I didn't realize it would come out tiny. So they shall make an ark of acacia wood. I don't know, let's say shittim. 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. So what's the thing that right away strikes you about the dimensions? That they're all halved. Meaning it's 2.5 long, 1.5 wide, and 1.5 high. Nowhere else in the entire Mishkan do we have half cubits. There's no other thing like this. So what do we learn from this? So the simple lesson is that the Aron, which is like the heart, it has to be halved. It has to be broken. That's its natural state. You don't think that something's wrong with the Aron at all. Everything is perfect about it. But it's like what Reb Nachman says, En shalem milev shavu. The only real whole heart is the one that has come to terms with its being broken. That's what it means to be a human being. That's what it means to be in the world. Well, like Shlomo used to say that this world is a hospital. They don't send the healthy people here. You come here because you're broken. That's the whole reason. And you come to learn. So once you could say that maybe you come to be healed, but the real healing starts only when you can come to terms with the fact that you're broken. You're not perfect. far from it, and you're carrying with you tons and tons and tons of problems. And why do we carry them all? Just to have lowliness in front of God. That's the first lesson. I have to be lowly. I have no right to feel superior to anybody else.